And we're back with more Monster Rancher 4. Now, I went through all the comments that have been posted over the last 5 days, and I decided that y'all are a bunch of indecisive monster fans, but at the same time, I actually thought that was really cool, because I think picking out monsters that are your favorites is kind of a personality test. And basically, I broke the data down in chronological order across main species because y'all were like real specific with your subtypes. And long and short of it, there were some great choices. I liked a lot of them, but the only one to get 3 main species votes, to even get 2 same species votes, is actually a plant. Specifically, this plant. Mushtan is actually kind of special in terms of the way the game works, because if the PS2 reads a CD that it just cannot decipher. Like, I know a lot of PC games that didn't have secondary tracks on them tended to cause this. Mushtan is a placeholder monster. And if it's just unable to read the disc or make heads or tails of it, this is the monster you get. Monster Rancher 3 actually had something similar, but I believe it gave you a regular mochi. Mushtan received 2 votes, and also a 3rd vote there was, I believe, for a mochi subtype plant. So Plant, as a main species, was up and away the winner, with 3 people actually being able to agree on him. So he's going to be our first, or rather our second monster, I should say. That one was more or less an open and shut case. Plus, several people asked for a rare monster, or that's just kind of my shorthand for a monster with a question mark subgene. And I haven't raised a plant in a long time, so I thought this could be fun. An odd monster, I'd say. Yeah. So, this little guy's gonna need a name. And honestly, I find myself a little unprepared. No, you know what? There. Instead of Toad, he's Frog! Yeah, it's a terrible joke. That's the joke we're going with. It's like the time I had we had to scare and raise a strong monster. Last time I did a joke that terrible, I made an Antland that I named after Furbus from Masked Rider. Cog was deeply upset with me for having done this. And a few people were asking, why does it crash, or like, what's my setup? For simple reasons that I don't want my channel taken down, I'm not really at liberty to talk about it. But I've tried some troubleshooting with my friend the Lone Ranger, and this is basically just all we can do. And obviously this problem translates also over to Monster Rancher Evo. So, oh, right, I forgot about this. Yeah, apes are in this game, but not in the form you might expect. The Ape Escape apes or a couple of them at least, are in this game as an Easter egg. I knew they were there. I never actually had the disc for one of these before, but this is one of those oddities that that Monster Rancher 4 kind of embraced. Now, having said that, the only other monsters... Well, there was... Let me rephrase. There were a couple different monsters that managed to get 2 votes. Not the overwhelming win that was for Plant that made its role in the party unambiguous. But the way I decided that I was going to bring these disagreements together was because, well, there was a vote specifically for a monster that was exclusive to Monster Rancher 4. The thing with that is there's only 2 of those. That's Modillo and Ripper. But technically Modillo and Ripper only got 1 vote each, outside of that request. Pixie was a monster that got 2 votes, if you count only main species. Now, which ones they chose, they disagreed on. But I thought maybe I could harmonize this request for a Monster Rancher 4 exclusive by picking this Pixie, the Faralina. It's a Pixie/Ripper, which is a pretty good genome, I would say. And that is monster number 3 we're going to be taking home to the ranch. Now, these monsters were chosen to align with the votes as best as I could reasonably manage. They were not chosen for their stats or anything else. So how I'm going to sort the ranch after the fact is something I'm just going to have to figure out as I go. What a cute monster. Take this monster home with you. Yes. You're naming this monster. I don't have a name for her either. I was just sorting out how we were going to do this. A fairy, huh? I will name her... I'll name her Titania. The Queen of the Forest. There we go. What will it be? Well, now we're going to go back to the ranch, and we're going to size up our situation a bit. See, I wasn't sure what monsters were going to get voted on, but you guys sure kept me on my toes. So here we have Jimmy, who's doing pretty alright for himself. I need to get his accuracy up a little bit more, but he'll be fine. Here's our Mushroom Frog, who definitely has some interesting proclivities. I don't remember seeing a plant where defense and speed were relatively comparable. But it's pretty strong, leaning into intelligence. Kind of gives us an indication of how this monster is going to work. But those starting attacks aren't amazing if that's the case. Pheromone and Magic Lure. Cheerful, like sleep, dislikes battle. Well, you're going to have to get over that. And Titania... Well, I mean, she's a pixie. Rippers are a physical speed monster. And fun story, the first time I raised one, I raised a Howl Zapper, a Ripper/Tiger. And the first 2 moves it had were intelligence-based. So I thought, oh, okay, it's an intelligence monster. And that worked out great for the machines that I had on my ranch at the time. So I actually had it on these 2 machines where it would alternate, where it basically got a net gain to accuracy, life, intelligence, and speed. So it was really great. And then every other move it learned was physical. Thank goodness those moves were actually pretty good, and actually, he managed to do really good for himself. I think I beat the game with him. So, right away, I can already see something that we can improve upon. The first being that, because Somersault is literally going to do us absolutely no good. At, what, 80? Yeah, 80 power. That's not amazing. For C, oh good, she has the dodge trait. That means she's actually off to a really good start. Likes to battle, dislikes playing. Well, I guess that's probably her Ripper blood. So now the game kinda takes the leash off a bit, and kind of allows us to set up things as we need to. So Jimmy's gonna rest because he's a bit worn out, and we can get these 2 started. Now, like I said, it's a little bit cruel that you do your first ranch expansion and customization before you get your other monsters, because you just don't know what you're gonna get. So, honestly, I'm not 100% sure how I want to do it, specifically because Frog is kind of the weird one. I'm gonna be honest. Let me call up his stat sheet again. Yeah, like, his primary defensive trait is HP, which can work. It's not my preferred way of doing things. For years I had a very strong bias against that kind of build, but I actually learned, like, no, it actually pretty tenable. That being said, it's probably going to be like, I'm imagining an intelligence defense build, which is never optimal in any Monster Rancher game ever. I think the only other monster that has that kind of stat loadout is, like, Pancho. Which I guess makes sense. It's also a plant. I don't don't know what you'd even call that kind of build. Tanky wizard? I don't know. I'm gonna experiment a little bit and kind of see how he does. I'll probably try to push real hard for maybe a defense life build. Maybe we can just make him into an off-tank. Now, thankfully, Titania is not so complicated. We know precisely how we're gonna build her because, well, she's a pixie, and pixies do what pixies do best, which is all intelligence all the time. I'm gonna have him start on target, and I'm gonna have her start on trampoline, and I'm gonna start getting these newcomers into the rhythm. Plus, I want to see how much fatigue a week's training does for them. Frog is already starting to underwhelm. Titania's doing okay for a baby. That is such a weird animation. I know that's supposed to be like the flower, but like the mush tan makes that look so bizarre. And someone, I forget who, but someone in the comments mentioned how the level 1 accuracy training gadget is like a terrible design decision. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. Look at this monstrosity. It's like one of the biggest gadgets you can get in the game. And it's a level 1 gadget. Now, obviously, Titania's off to a better start. She's gonna go through, like, hunger really fast, I can tell. I love the monster animations. The level of detail is just delightful. He's doing okay. And someone actually kind of helped break down the parameters for praising and scolding, and it turns out I was wrong. It actually is beneficial to praise your monster while resting. Like, I actually thought that would, like, hurt their focus, but again, a lot of my research was always anecdotal. I was never privy to the math behind the scenes. It turns out it's actually better to just for the bonding. And, I don't know. You know what? No, I'm kind of mad. Honestly, like, get your act together, man. Come on. I know you just got here, I know you're a baby, but I expect better out of you. I'm gonna be that guy right now. And now we have the options of moving to the town, obviously, and buying foodstuffs, which I think is really like our only option right now. And there's actually an amusing thing I'm going to do later in the game once we're a bit better established, because the Shrine and Associations are here, and if you forget to do something during the week, you can go here anytime. The item shop you have to visit on the weekends. Oh, welcome, Snek. Well, what will you do? Let's just talk first of all. You know what? Talking to your monster isn't just about praising it. If you find a monster slacking off, you can just scold it too. That's important too. That's fair. Now, Yuri is going to be our go-to for monster food stuff. Chiefly potatoes because they're cheap filling and most monsters like them. I think probably Titania's going to lean more towards bananas and mangoes, because she seems to have a sweeter taste palette, but thankfully those are also relatively cheap. These are worthless. I have never had a monster ask for them, and they're just vendor trash near as I can tell. If they have any kind of mechanical effect, it's not a particularly profound one. Right now, we're doing pretty alright. I just kind of wanted to show that that's now an option to us. So now we can kind of size up what the damage is for every time we train. Usually... Whoop! Snek, wake up! Something's happened! I was about to go into a mechanical explanation, Rio. You have terrible timing. Morning, Rio. What is it? Oh, change those pants. What? Sorry, just a sec. I'll put something on. Oh! Like, was I in my boxers or something? Like, I don't know what I was supposed to take away from that at first. This one found this morning. Rio, you're falling apart. Is this giant cave here before? No, I've never seen it before. And I feel some strange power. It seems like it's beckoning us. Beckoning us? How cool. Let's take the monsters and investigate. What's the cave doing here? I'll have to investigate. Well, Excuse me, but who are you? Me? Oh, I'm in charge of the investigation of these parts. Call me, Mr. K. Yeah. He's not fooling anybody. That's clearly, one good Mr. Carnab, chairman of FIMBA and repeat investigation serial addict. And how about you kids? Are you in charge of investigation of this cave too? Yes, that's why we're here. It's on my property! Why you just wander onto my ranch? That's just splendid. But you know, I'm a bit worried for you. It's crawling with stray monsters, you know. I have an idea. Let the adventurer, Mr. K, tell you the ins and outs of exploring. Finish all your preparations by the weekend. Then meet me in front of the cave this weekend. Until then, he's gone. What a strange old man. He seems like a nice guy, and it might be fun to go exploring this weekend. This is the game very unsubtly telling you to prepare yourself. So, as a result, we kind of want everyone in resting mode. Yeah, it's a little redundant, but Billy's not going to get that bent out of shape for having to rest twice in a row. So everyone's gonna basically just kind of pile in front of the... Where's Titania? Oh, wow. She's way out there on her own. Titania seems like more aloof. I'm assuming it's Ripper blood. Apparently, according to their description, they have a tendency to shred things with their nails. Given that they have pretty radical toenails, even for pixies, I believe it. Anyway, they all pile in front of the barn or the house, and it only varies insofar as how I believe the ranch is laid out at the moment. I'm just gonna top them off. No, I actually do need to buy some food. I do have a need. Ah, I wasn't expecting it to go in that order, but you get potato. I think Frog hates potato. It says I don't want it. He doesn't eat plant-based food? You eat squid? Yeah, you're gonna be my problem child, aren't you? I should have figured. There's always one. Alright. Time for our tutorial. Well, the weekend is here, and as I assume you're fully prepared. Well then, we're off. Mr. K the Adventurer will be your guide on this fabulous expedition. Yep, in this case we have literally no choice, but obviously we're just going to the cave that's literally right on our property. You can take up to 3 monsters, and really there's no reason to ever not do that. Especially as I think 3 is the most comfortable in terms of raising number of monsters to raise at a time. So we're just going to take our 3 babus here. I guess Jimmy's a little old to be called that, but... Let's start with the basics. Left analog stick is movement. You move the camera with the right analog stick. First try going to the treasure chest ahead of you. When in front of the chest, push the X button to open it. See yarn ball. Well, this yarn ball is yours now. Keep it safe. Sometimes chests are hidden. When you get near a suspicious location, the cursor appears. Which is what he's trying to draw our attention to over here. But I don't think any one of us have a cave search. There's the X button right there, except we don't have a monster to search it right now. Let's move on. Next we'll search for stray monsters. As you move around, your energy ticks down. I have literally never run into a situation where I was in danger of running out, because even the longest expeditions in the game aren't that punishing if your monster is well prepared for the difficulty at hand. Now, another thing I need to mention is one of the other glitches that can occur thanks to the way this is set up is the countering animation often glitches. I'm sorry, there's really nothing I can do about that. It's just going to look weird when it happens. It doesn't hurt the game's progress. It's just a fact of life that I have to cope with. Generally, I'm going to keep Jimmy here on point. I almost said Billy, but that was his predecessor in Monster Hunter Advance 2. The monster on point gets the lion's share of adventure experience, but everyone who is present gets at least a little bit. Win battles to raise experience points. To level up, new skills, traits, and even items can be obtained. If you lose a battle, your experience, skills, and items remain, but you return to your range fatigued. Using quit exploring on the square button menu is the same. When you quit exploring, your monster becomes exhausted and its lifespan is shortened. What? You mean it won't live as long? Nope, it's a cruel world. See the gauge on the lower left of the screen? That's the energy gauge. It's actually the upper left of the screen, and it lowers over time. Essentially, essential to exploration. It lowers each time you move, and when it reaches 0, your monster's life lowers. Watch it carefully. Oh, so they start taking HP damage? I've literally never had that happen before. Does energy ever rise? No, it does not rise. But while you have energy, the life of monsters that took damage during battle will gradually recover. So run too much and our exploring will be cut short. Every floor has a staircase to the next floor. If you make it there, you can return to your ranch without taking heavy damage, or go to the next floor. This is an important choice, just not getting too greedy in this respect. I guess that's all I have to tell you. The rest is up to you. Well, do your best. Now, honestly, we kind of want to take some moment here to fight some monsters. But I forget if this particular expedition lets you. I actually think it does not. A thing to bear in mind is that there is no expedition maps in Monster Rancher 4, but that's because every time you play through, the maps are semi-randomly generated. Yeah, I don't think there's any random encounters in this one. I think we just have to move on. Also, you can choose which monster is following behind you and which monster is on point. And they went out of their way to give every monster its own movement cycle, and some monsters, like the Rhino Roller or Baku, you can even ride on. It's all very cute. Oh yeah, and those random bats. I think those are like a 2D sprite, because they don't seem to have any depth to them. By the by, I don't think countering as a mechanic has been unlocked just yet, but having said that, you guys at least know. Oh, there are battles. Just really, really infrequent ones. Most of the monsters around here are softballs. They're deliberately not supposed to be a big threat to you. And if a monster takes damage, you can even swap them out mid-battle. In fact, let's let Frog take the next one then. He's kind of headbanging as he walks. Nunchucks, which are just a vendor trash item. They do not unlock monsters in this one. Big deal in Monster Rancher Advance 2, not a big deal here. I think this one is... yeah, let's go back and check that other path. The Tokyo Caves, I believe, are ranked for E and D ranked monsters. So generally, every monster will spend some portion of its training here, which is to be expected, of course. Oh, Frog. Even when you're not disappointing me, you're disappointing me. Alright, let's try a different tactic. Oh gosh, your accuracy is garbage. At least his HP is so high that, like, even getting hit doesn't really slow him down any. Frog, stop being a failure. Oh, good. Oh, I get to talk about this now. Seamot adds a second attack. Whatever monster is next after them, if this attack will ever hit. I might have to swap out at this rate. Okay, the attack has to hit first, so let's start with that. Then... Alright, we're swapping out. I mean, at least she has a relatively low chance of being hit. Did I mention recently that I really hate Gitans? You have got to be kidding me. I'm the big brother, jump in and save them. Anyway, Team Up is a kind of status condition that will cause the next monster in line to jump in and lend an assist. Obtain reference. That is an item that you can give your monsters. Usually really intelligence-leaning monsters tend to prefer it. But hey, weirder things have happened. Team Up makes another monster attack, so you get to do a lot of damage. There's actually a very specific in-game tutorial that actually queues up well after the point you've likely discovered it on your own. So it's, like, not 100% sure why they did that, but it's whatever. Now, the neat thing about Garus, they can be tanks or they can be speedsters. It's really up to your preference. I went speedster with him because I believe his starting speed is a little bit higher than his defense is, but I've done both and done both successfully, so I think that's part of the reason why they chose him as the starter monster. Also because Monster Rancher 4 had more of an adventure theme to begin with. Yeah, that was kind of cathartic. Obtain King's Fist, which I believe ups the power of punching moves. Ah, more free stuff. And as you see, Frog and Titania's HP are recovering as we're moving around. Honestly, the expeditions are some of my favorite aspects of Monster Rancher 4. I love just being able to get new attacks and customized traits a lot more in a more hands-on fashion. Here we have the stairway. So we're gonna continue to the next floor. Ah, this one is a brief high search, which Titania has the potential to get, but we do not have any search skills just yet, so we'll have to wait for another day. Ah, that's a water search area. We're getting to see all the neat sights. Now, which ones you'll encounter are, of course, randomized, but having monsters with a broad array of explorative abilities helps tremendously. Oh, I saw something, but it's just the lighting. If you're wondering why every enemy monster has a letter after their name, it's because that's their rank. It gives you a general overall idea of how strong they are. Yarn ball. We can sell that to feed our potato addiction. Except for somebody here who's picky. I suppose it follows that a plant wouldn't want to eat plant-based food, but it's like, come on, dude. If I end up doing repeat expeditions, and I inevitably will because that's how you grind, I'm probably going to leave it off screen unless something really interesting happens. The thing to bear in mind, however, is that one of the things you can find are a series of items called document items, which actually contain a lot of lore unifying the series up to this point. If I find those, I'll make it a point to sit down and share those when I get the chance. Obtain Sniper, which I believe is distance moves, or I forget what that one is. Let's double check. Increase the power of shooting and throwing moves. Every monster also has an idle animation, so if you end up standing around for a while. Nagil, which is a drug, which functions very similarly to the drugs in Monster Ranchers 1 and 2. By the way, I actually had Luna Ranger look into it for me, and Color Pandora, 2 words, is the proper species name for this monster you're seeing here opposite me. The base species Color Pandora has been wrongly translated Coral Pindora since Monster Rancher 3. Did the music go haywire there, or was I imagining things? She obtained Golden Foot, which increases kicking moves. Frog obtained Sniper. And I got a silver coin. That's pretty good. That sells for like 1,000 gold, which is really funny when you stop to think about it, but hey, we don't know what the economy is standardized on. I believe opening that chest ends this expedition, so we're not going to touch that just yet. Green chests hold rare objects. Or I should say rarer objects. It can be any number of things, from the documents I mentioned before, to just really rare vendor trash, to even saucer stones that actually have other monsters that we can get. But we can't get them, specifically because I had to use that one Game Shark code, but hey, life goes on. If nothing else interesting happens, I'll put the rest of this expedition into fast-forward mode, but there's no reason not to use most of your energy. Someone asked if there was a fail condition on expeditions. Apart from just getting knocked out, which just sends you back to the ranch with a bunch of fatigue and stress, not that I know of. And I have to say, I think 4 has the most elegant battle system. The only thing that I would have done different or added to is taking the defense block aspect from Monster Rancher DS, which I think was a really nice masterstroke in that game. Because that would give you some defensive options. I don't think they should give you the option of having a full defense reel. I think that's probably too much. But having some defense blocks amidst your attack blocks, I think would add a new level of strategy. And basically, you can just use 4's combat engine. It's already pretty much perfect. Alright, I'm going to start running in circles till that 400 is a lot lower, so I'll see you on the other side. I wouldn't watch this bit sped up too closely if I was you. Finally. Alright, that's probably all we're getting out of this. Obtain life tablet. What's this? Something strange is inside. A stone tablet? It seems very old. The writing seems to explain something, almost like a blueprint. You're right, that's really interesting. Why do I have the feeling that I've seen this before? Really? Suppose it's nothing. Anyway, we found something really neat. This is enough exploring for now. And because we didn't run out of stamina, the tired impact is not all that much. Hello, I invited myself over. Guess you were out and about? Yeah, I guess you could say that. What's that stone you have there? Let me have a look. This? I found it in the cave. Do you know anything about it? Design, these joints. It looks like a blueprint for a training gadget. Wait a minute, does this mean that people from ages past use training gadgets too? No, they use this really hippie-tastic one with nature theme that really made the game suck, but, I mean, who am I? If that's the case, then this is a real discovery. What? Could I ask you a favor, Snek? Could I borrow this from you? I want to try recreating the ancient training gadgets described in those blueprints. Sure, go right ahead. I'll be exploring again and look for more. Oh, excellent. I'll give you the training gadget as soon as it's done. No, you will offer to sell it to me because you are a tight-fisted miser. A chance to recreate a training gadget with my very own hands. Oh, it's just amazing. I gotta get started right away. Bye, then. Pollock looks so happy. We gotta go exploring again. Oh, and we will, definitely. No doubt about that. Now, everyone's a little worn out. Maybe some light exercises in order. That should be fine. But we're gonna have you do that. I want to see what your threshold is, so we're gonna push it a little. Oh, look who's got their act together all of a sudden. Oh, you're getting hungry. Carrot? Oh, she seemed to like that. You're fine. I'm actually going to praise you. You actually put your all into it, so good job. In fact, actually, she did too, so I should praise her as well. I thought I have, like, Disney hands, or I think these are even daintier than I thought. And now, anytime we want, we can go out and adventure to any place that we have currently unlocked, which is presently just the caves. But for now, actually, wait, real quick. We have some junk to offload, and some food to buy. Sell. That's for starters. Selling a silver coin for 1,000 gold coins is just surreal to me. Nice little continuity nod. We can get Monster Farm battle cards, which actually sell a lot for a toy item. And the reference, which also seems to sell for a lot. I'm not selling, now we're here to buy. I guess I should get a little of everything, right? I don't 100% know what their tastes are. Probably not gonna eat screws, to be perfectly honest. I'll grab 5 of everything. And we'll be able to gauge their tastes this way. expensive. Energy bars are really expensive and they barely fill out the hunger bar at all. We're not going to worry about screws because only very specific monsters actually eat them. So which one's more economical? The squid? Yeah, the squid by a wide margin, actually. I think Frog's going to be on a seafood diet until I start winning monster battles again. Alright, thanks, Yuri. I think we're actually going to be free to just raise our monsters for a bit, so I'm going to jump ahead to the next interesting thing happens. So maybe that'll be a week, maybe that'll be a few in-game months, who knows. But I'll see you then.